CTU, this is your finest hour. Stand up, everyone. Stand up. Take a look around. Everyone, look around. This is what democracy looks like.
The strike of 2012 gave me a fulfillment of a dream. So as I walked the streets, I looked at the people who supported us, who blew at us, who said thumbs up, who said you're great.
I think the teacher strike was this amazing, amazing moment in both Chicago history, but also kind of something that really had the nation's eyes riveted on the city.
I believe the strike of last year was a wake-up call for all citizens of Chicago, and especially for the working individuals at the Chicago Teachers Union, those that are on the front lines affecting the lives of our children.
A lot of people were scared, politically speaking, right? Before an election, we're trying to re-elect a Democratic president who's from Chicago. No, don't go on strike. Be quiet. We're going to, negotiate this. And the CTU was incredibly bold in deciding, like, no, we're not going to play it safe. That actually is not in the interest of our members. That's not in the interest of students or in the city. And in fact, actually, decided to move forward. Had a huge amount of support by parents and community members. And it really became very clear, this idea of take back Chicago, like take back our streets, like these are our streets. And I think the strike really made it so clear how much the city is actually ours and what happens when we decide to come together and fight.
The fight is not over. The fight had just started when we went out on strike. And the one thing we wanted to do was show the mayor that we had some power. And our power was in the people.
The strike of 2012 was very important because it was the first real show of resistance against corporate school reform models that have been forced on people across this country and have been horrendous. So what made this strike different from any other teacher strike ever in the history of America is that in this teacher strike, we had a whole new layer of activists come out because we had parents, we had students, and we had community members standing with us side by side, day by day, supporting us. In addition, we have created an entire new generation of student activists who understand that their education is under attack and they're willing to fight back.
So my name is Sarah Johnson and I'm a youth organizer with Albany Park Neighborhood Council. My long-term goal is to become either a special education teacher or a civics teacher in high school. And the reason those are my two passions is because my brother is autistic. So growing up with an autistic brother, there's challenges, and but he's an amazing kid. And I was helping with him with his homework actually last night, and the ideas are all there, He has really trouble with math, and I hate math too, but math is a really hard subject. But that would be the reason why I would be in special ed, because I know how brilliant my brother is, and I think those students that have a disability, it's really not a disability, you just gotta really work with them to let them shine. And the reason for civics teachers, which I won't get all emotional about, is because when I was in school and when I did CTU this year for canvassing, I grew such a passion for politics and knowing who the senators are, which I'm getting more used to that. But it's so important for us to be educated about these things, because if you're not educated about what's going on, then you really can't have a voice or have a say, because you don't know what's happening. So when I was out canvassing for CTU, one of our goals was to get people who weren't registered to vote, who were 18, to register and vote, and tell them why this is so important for you to vote, because this is your life, your job is to tell those people higher than you what you need. And if you don't think that your say-so is important, then they're not going to think you're a person either. So I would love to be a civics teacher to really stress the importance of knowing your alderman and just knowing what's happening around, so you won't feel victim of what may be happening in your community.
The next incarnation of this movement is our political action. The entire world knows about the power of the Chicago Teachers Union. They saw us in front of City Hall, 20,000 deep. Now they need to see us in the halls of Springfield, in the halls of City Hall, not just 20,000 deep, but with elected officials who wear red proudly, with policies that edify our classrooms and don't destroy our classrooms.
Politics is, you know what it is? It's participating in things in which elections will take place. It may seem to be very simple, but an election about something is going to take place. That means politics are involved. Someone is going to say, this is what we need to do. Someone else is going to say, this is what we need to do. But as educated or even just community people, legislators, teachers, we should all be involved in those decisions that are being made. And when they're made against us, we should do a loud outcry.
In the last couple of years in the city of Chicago, as administrations have changed, we have seen an undaunting attack on that public school system and on that communities and how those communities look today.
I look at people and say, don't be afraid to confront these issues. Don't be afraid to confront the people that are up there making these decisions, because if you don't, they're all too happy to keep doing what they're doing. And it's only when somebody steps in front of them and stops the steamroller, stops the way they're going about things and says, I'm going to stand up and fight on these issues, that's the only way you create change.
We live in Chicago, and Chicago has always been a very rough and tumble political city. And people respect, in this town, especially politicians, respect people who will stand up and have something to say and can back it up. And that's what it means to actually build power, not just for political purposes, but because we know that if we don't take back the education debate, the people who know absolutely nothing about what it is we really do and have a lot of money get to make all the decisions.
I believe that I got very concerned when I started seeing the opportunists trying to use the current public dollars to put into this new concept that apparently just a few individuals or maybe a separate economic class, if you will, many elite people that think they know what's best for many of us in our communities have put together.
Those people who are fighting for charter schools, they're business owners who are wealthy, wealthy people. Their objective is to get those dollars, which they have done in many instances, to get those dollars that really are supposed to go for public school education.
We're up against serious billionaires.
Stand for Children. DFER, you have Advance Illinois.
We're talking about Bill Gates, Eli Broad, and the Walton family of Walmart.
And these are boards full of people who have had absolutely no practical experience engaging in communities that need the most.
But what that means too is that the money's coming from outside the city. It's not organic. It's not from the people that are working at the grassroots level. It's not from it's not coming from the neighborhood, the places where we live.
And all of these people from all over the country, many of them have taken their little briefcases and gone. They've done enough destruction in the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois, so they'll move on to another city or another state. But you've got to meet force with force in politics. In politics, when somebody comes with an idea or legislation to hurt you, you've got to have as much force against that as they have for it.
We're up against so much where the contributions on the other side are much, much greater than what we on the progressive side really have. And I think we've got to fight to change that, right? And I think this idea that low-income people or middle-class communities aren't willing to fund the movement is really wrong. Like, it is absolutely on us.
The union needs to engage in political work because this is yet another layer of our movement. What we do in my department is make sure that we convey appropriately to elected officials and to policymakers the need for wraparound services, the need for a lower class size, things that actually work in a school building.
Obviously, we're looking for candidates that understand and support issues that are important to public education in Illinois. And we understand that they can't be right all the time, so we also look for people who want to be educated and who are open to hearing these things and to listening to us and working with us.
We have to support politicians, but we also have to educate them. Because if we don't, Advance Illinois, Stand on Children, the Heartland Institute, and the Business Roundtable will be glad to do that. In order for us to be seen and be taken seriously, we have to have the money to back up our platforms.
The Chicago Teachers Union's contributions on part of the rank and file hasn't changed since the 1970s. And in order to achieve the things that we need to do in Springfield, in Washington, and right here in Chicago, we need to put our money where our mouth is, and we need to up these contributions, and we have a campaign going right now. And our rank and file at the House of Delegates unanimously supported us in this effort.
Anything of value, really, actually, most things of value, there's some cost to them. Not just your time, not just your expertise, but sometimes you have to put dollars to the metal.
If we did as much as we did with $2, imagine what we could do with $5, $10, $20, or even people who are willing to give up $100. We can run our own campaign, but we need the dollars to do it. And teachers have to, the staff has to understand that if you want power, you have to come up with the money.
So I'm asking you now, please contribute to the PAC Fund. Will it unite us? Will it make us stronger? And will it build our power? Yes, it will.
And every time you ask the question, what are they doing for us? I will ask, what are you doing? If you are not willing to give up some dollars, then you are waiting for somebody else to buy you. When people give you money, then you owe them. So for us, we give ourselves money and we owe it to ourselves to be the best of whatever we're going to be.
Sisters and brothers of the CTU, I want to tell you right now, there's power in the rank and file.
Dreaming